So does anyone know how you would solve that? She wants to know how many hours she needs to work. She doesn't know how many hours she needs to work a week. That's what she's asking. She says she wants to make $300 in 1 week, and she makes $9.40 an hour.
300 divided by 940.
So you just take 300 and you divide it by this, and that would give you how many hours, right? Like that. Okay, I want you to see this in a slightly different way. She makes $9.40 times X. X is the number of hours she works. So if she works no hours, she makes no money. If she works 1 hour, she makes $9.40. If she works 2 hours, she makes double that, 3, 4, right? We want to know when that will be equal to 300, right? This right here is a linear equation. So we are changing topics now. We're done with the order of operations. We're moving on, but this is kind of a slight motivational problem. You told me you just take 300 and divide it by 940, right? 9.4. That is what we will do, but this is that problem formulated in an equation. So if I want to solve for x, figure out how many hours she needs to work. So this is her hours, this is her rate, and then this is her pay, right? That's what I'm trying to solve for x here. So how do you solve for x if you have something in front of it being multiplied? How do you get rid of this on that side of the equation? Divide both sides by 940. So I divide by 9.4, and I divide this by 9.4. So x will be, and then now you need your calculator to just crank this out. 31.9192, somewhere around there, approximately. So she needs approximately 32 hours of work, right? Now, she actually did know how to calculate that. She's a senior in high school, so she knew how to do that. But she was really asking me to try and help her figure out, like with the taxes being taken out, like how much she would need to work. Because, you know, you're going to have to pay taxes. So, but all I'm trying to get you to see is that that word problem can be turned into a mathematical equation that we can solve and get the answer. So you said 300 divided by 940. Yes, that you probably could have done that and not needed to write it as an equation. But sometimes in the real world, there are problems that are so complicated that you can't just do a quick calculation. You have to do a lot of other stuff in order to figure out what the answer is. Let me give you an example. Now this question I'm going to ask now, this all depends on the students in my class. Does anybody in here pay for their own electricity?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So let's show of hands. How many of you pay for your own electricity? All right. CPS, right? If you live in town. So how much do they charge for electricity? Do you know? What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Because how much, how long you keep the lights on for a certain amount of hours.
So it's not like gas, you mean? It's not like when you go to the gas pump. If I put in 20 gallons, I'm going to pay 20 times however much the gas is. You're telling me that CPS also takes into account how many gallons I put in other words. Do you all know that?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you use a very little amount of electricity, you get a lower rate. If you use more electricity, they start charging you more. But it doesn't work as simple as that. They have what are called tiers. So let's bring up the CPS website. Everything I'm going to show you is all going to turn into a linear equation. And we need to be able to solve them. So I'm going to try and go to CPS's website. I don't know how this is going to go. Rate table. Oops. You would hope that it would just have a rate here for us. Residential electricity rate. Oh, it's downloading a file. Man, you would think they would have it in a simple table, but they don't. Okay, that looks like it right there. Let me zoom in on this for us. Okay, there we go. Let's try and understand what the hell they're talking about here. So, you're going to be charged per month $8.75 for what?
Service.
Just the pleasure of using the electricity is going to cost you $8.75 no matter what. Then you're going to pay $0.0691. So this is about 7 cents almost, right? 7 cents per what? kWh, which stands for kilowatt hours. So that's like, you know, how much electricity you're using per hour. It's the way they measure how much electricity you're using, all right? So you're going to pay 7 cents per kilowatt hour you use. Now, peak capacity charge, you're going to pay on top of that, you're going to pay, what's this, almost 2 cents? Do y'all see that? 0.0198. You're going to pay about 2 cents per kilowatt hour for all kilowatt hours in excess of 600 kilowatt hours. So if you use more than 600 kilowatt hours per month, if you do, you're going to pay an additional $2 per cent for every kilowatt hour over 600. All right? Peak capacity charge is applicable only during the summer billing period. Oh, so they wait until it's hot and people need to use their actual electricity. And so there we go. All right? And then we have a minimum bill charge, adjustments. Okay, so that's their website. I don't really like that. I'm actually going to go to my CPS bill, if y'all don't mind. I don't know if I know this offhand. Hold on. I'm not one of those people who has everything is one password. You know what I'm saying? And I don't recommend you do that. I have a different password for every single thing. So this one's actually one I can remember. All right. Oh, I don't want to pay my bill. Anyone want to pay my bill while I've got it up here? No. So the way I do my electricity is this. I pretty much pay the same every month. I just send the same amount to CPS every month. And then I start to build up credit with them. So like I overpay. And then when the summer comes, I've got a cushion. And then it's the same bill every month. And so right now my bill's $134, but I actually use $228 worth of electricity. So, but my bill is only $134. So I'm going to put, I think I pay like $225 every month or something like that. And you can see the usage went up in June, right? You can see like it's been nice. Okay. So let's get, where's the charge? Where's all the details? What the hell? No. I need the actual the detail. Should.
There's 4 pages.
Oh, there's 4. Okay, I haven't scrolled. There it is. There it is. I thought it would just scroll down. There it is. Okay, let me zoom in on that if I can. Hey, there's that $8.75 that we were talking about, right? Service availability charge. Hey, they promised that, didn't they? And then I'm paying energy charge. I did 1,881 kilowatt hours at about that 7 cents. Okay? There we go. And then here's my peak capacity charge, which was everything over 600 kilowatt hours. So notice the difference between these is 600? So everything over 600. So how much did I go over 600? 1,281 kilowatt hours. So I had to pay that extra 2 cents. That cost me $25.36 this month. Okay? Fuel adjustment. What is this?
You have gas?
No, this isn't my gas. This is one of those things they put in there that has to do with the cost. It's so they can adjust your bill a little bit depending on how much it's costing them to create the electricity. They have to make adjustments for their own cost, which can depend on a lot of factors. If there's a hurricane that wipes things out, things cost change. So how much did I change for this? I'm paying almost 2 cents here, $32. And this is on every kilowatt hour I used, not just the peak overage. And then what's this regulatory adjustment? What is that? $20. So there you go, $216. So I use 200. It costs $216 to keep the lights on in my house this month. And then the gas is different, right? Gas is separate charge. I paid only $11.80 for the month in gas. So it's real nice that they give you this, right here. But what if my question was, what would my usage need to be to keep my bill at $200, this charge at $200? Do you understand the question? I want to know how much electricity do I need to keep myself down to make my bill no more than $200. Do you see it's kind of like the question that I just asked a second ago, where it's like, how many hours does she need to work to make 300? That's an easy linear equation, 300 divided by 940. That's what we did. This not so easy. Why is this one not so easy? You got all these different factors in here, right? So there is a linear equation that we should be able to set up that would be able to give us that answer. Do y'all even want to try it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We'll try it. I have to leave that up there. So what if I wanted to keep my bill at $200? My goal is this. How many kilowatt hours, kWh, to keep my bill at $200? Just for this. Like, we're not talking about the gas. We're not talking about taxes, and right? There's a lot of other stupid things. All right, so let's try and set this up. Why don't we assign a variable for this? How many kilowatt hours? That's what we want to know. Let's call that X. Okay? So what can you tell me about my bill? Needs to be 200, right? Yes?
Yes.
So something needs to be equal to 200. So what is it that needs to be equal to 200? All of this, right? So all of this. So how much am I going to pay? No matter what? $8.75. So this side of the equation, $8.75. Let me do it this way. Let me erase this. Let's just start writing out what my bill would always be, or what it would be this month. It would be $8.75 plus. Okay, so how much am I going to pay for this energy charge? This right here per kilowatt hour, right? So I'm going to put 0.0691x, right? Because I don't know how many kilowatt hours. What else am I going to pay? What's the next line? Right? It's this charge. Now, this is extremely tricky. This is extremely tricky, this next one. Does anyone have a question on what this means? Service charge, and then how much I'm paying per kilowatt hour. We're all good with that? Yes. Okay. Remember, X is the number of kilowatt hours that I'm going to have. So my next charge is my peak capacity charge, which is 0.0198 times what, though? Is it X? Am I going to get charged this additional 2 cents for every kilowatt hour I use? It's only over 600. So how in the hell do I put that in here? So let's just say I used 800 kilowatt hours. What number would go here? 200. What if I used 1200 kilowatt hours? What number would go here? 600. What are you doing?
You're doubling it.
We're subtracting what?
Whatever you use.
Whatever I use, you're subtracting from it 600, right? That's what goes here. So watch how I write that. In parentheses, whatever I use minus 600. See that? So if I use 800 kilowatt hours, I'm only going to have, what, 200 times that? Do y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you see how this is much different than the linear equation that we just did? Okay? All right, what else goes into this? These two, but these are going to go off of my total usage. So those I don't have to do the minus 600. So I can just add to this. I'm going to run out of room, so I'm just going to add to this down here. 0.01747x, then plus 0.01045x. There we go. That should be how much I'm charged for electricity. And I want to know when this is what? 200. So now I have to go solve that equation. So I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get my bill out of here. I should probably just get off this website. All right. So let's try and write this out in a better manner. Got 8.75 plus 0.0691x plus 0.0198 x minus 600. I'm trying to make it all look like one line, so it looks more like linear equations that you might be familiar with. There we go. That is a linear equation, not so pretty, but definitely real world, right? Okay. Let's solve for x. So when we solve for x, when you're dealing with these things called linear equations, the idea is to get x by itself on one side. You're allowed to multiply both sides by anything you want, divide by anything you want, add to both sides, subtract from both sides, right? So let's take care of, and collect like terms, right? So let's take care of this parentheses first. How can I get rid of that parentheses? If I had this, and I said get rid of the parentheses, what would you do? You would distribute that through, right? I need to do the same thing here. I need to distribute this here and here, right? Like that. So let me distribute that through. 8.75. This is going to suck to write this over and over, but okay. When I distribute this times x, I just get this, and this times 600, I'll need my calculator for. 11.88? Negative 11.88? Okay. And then plus 0.01747x plus 0.01045x. That must be $200. Next thing I'm going to do is collect all my like terms. So this has an x in it, this has an x in it, this has an x in it, and this has an x in it, right? I can put all those together. And how do we do that? How do we collect like terms? Like if I had 3x plus 4x plus 7x, how do you add those up? You just go 3 plus 4 plus 7, right? You're just adding the numbers up. So really, I just need to take this number on my calculator, this number on my calculator, this number on my calculator, and that number on my calculator, and just add those up. And we'll have to be very careful here that we add it properly. Does anyone have a question on what I'm doing? Someone might be able to check me here. I'm getting... Anyone else get that? Yes? Okay. So that's what I get with my x's. What about numbers here? I have this and that, right? I can put those together. So 8.75, and I take away 11.88, I get negative 3.13. Okay? And then all of that must equal 200. Is this starting to look a little bit more like a linear equation now? So what would be my next step if I'm trying to get x by itself and I have this take away that?
You'll move the 313 over.
How do I move that over? Add it, right? So add this to both sides. So they'll cancel here, and over here we'll get 20313 equals 0.11682x. And then my last step would be to try and get x by itself. Divide both sides. So I'm going to divide this side by 0.11682 and divide this side by 0.11682. And that will give me my answer, hopefully. Does the answer make sense? Let's see. 1,738.8 kilowatt hours. There you go. Do y'all remember how many kilowatt hours I had this month? It was like 1,800 something, right? And my bill was like 212 or something like that, wasn't it? Right? So does this answer make sense then? It's less kilowatt hours than I had, and it's 200. So I need to keep it. Now, in the real world, I don't think anyone is ever going to do this. Like, I've done this plenty of times trying to figure this out. In fact, I have an app on my phone. This is just the anal part of me, but I have an app. I know y'all won't be able to see this, but I can sign in right now to my house, and I can actually show you a graph of real-time electricity being used in my home right now. So like right now, I have it in kilowatt hours. Oh, consumption, there we go. Right now in my house, the gauge is at basically 5 kilowatt hours is what I'm running. So I can tell you right now the air conditioner is not on at home. Not right now. It will kick in. But this app allows me to put in all these. I basically went in and put all these numbers in, and then it measures my electricity, and I can tell it, I can ask it right now, what's my bill looking like? And it's giving me an estimate right now that this month's bill is going to be about $196. So, but I can see real-time electricity, so I can go in there and I can say, okay, look, if I turn off my computer, right, not just turn it off, but like shut down everything, the printer, like how much does that drop my electricity by? And how much does that save me? Now, this may not, who cares, right? Like this is actually too anal, right? But if electricity rates go up where you can't afford to have, you know, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you go buy this house, but you can't afford the electricity, what happens? You always have to take these things into consideration. So, all right, big picture. Easy linear equations, asking how many hours I should work to make, you know, $300 a week. Harder ones, electricity usage to figure out my, you know, what I want my bill to be. But it's all the same thing, linear equations. So the section that we're supposed to be starting now, and I don't think I'm going to start it. It's our first day. I think you've done well. Right? You think we can cut out a little early today just because it's the first day? We will come back. So do not worry about the homework for linear equations. For linear equations. So it's on our syllabus that you're supposed to do this, but you can start looking at this. This is where we're going to pick up next time. Equations, linear equations, distributing, basically everything I just did on that problem, but nicer numbers, right? Not all these weird decimals like the CPS energy. All right? Okay, everyone have a nice day. I'll see you on Wednesday.